right. It is Wednesday again. This is the Wednesday weekly learning session. My name is Carlos Navia. I am here for local bartending school. Do this every Wednesday, 3 p.m. Pacific time, 6 p.m. Eastern time. And I did see the links posted on Facebook today. So if you are a student that's been coming to this and going to the classes, you can use the same link. If you are new and want to check out local bartending school, they'll ask you for a little bit of information. I don't think it's anything too personal. And then they'll give you a link and you can always be part of this live. So it is almost Christmas. It is raining outside here in Central California. So I have moved the tiki bar inside and it makes a nice effect with the top of my little Christmas tree here for this week's Christmas Spectacular. Any questions about anything before I kind of jump into today's topics? All right, so Christmas is this Saturday. It is coming on a weekend. I do keep seeing the rise of ready-to-drink cocktails and different canned cocktails coming around. I even noticed this one, which is made here actually locally where I live. Rod and Hammer Slow Stills are some local guys. I actually have met them before. They're members of the country club I used to work at. Very nice guys. Whiskey margarita, whiskey mule, whiskey paloma in a can. So, I mean, I think this trend is going to continue to grow. I don't think it's going to stop. I don't think we really know yet how it necessarily affects the bar industry or if it really does affect the bar industry. You know, I think about, is this going to replace going out? People just, staying at home and have ready to drink cocktails. And I don't think that's the case. I mean, they have been around for a very long time, even since the 80s when I was a kid, club cocktails in the can were around. And yes, even back then, I was paying attention to what everybody was drinking, around the parties at my house. But they're definitely not going away. It doesn't really, replace the pub experience. It doesn't replace the bar experience. That's kind of part of it anyway. For the price of one beer at a bar, I can buy a 6-pack and take it home. I pay that premium for the social interaction, to be out, to have a good time, to be somewhere, I can have my drink, I can watch the game, put my tunes on the jukebox, play darts, play pool, whatever, that's really what you're paying for. So I don't think it's, going to replace the experience of going out. We have noticed a trend, with COVID, more people staying home and people afraid to go out, going to public places. I think the way it might really kind of have an impact on the industry, and I'm going to kind of look into this because I did not look into this yet. I just kind of have the question, is that if you can sell these ready to drink cocktails at a place that only has a beer and wine license, because I've worked at places and I've seen places do this, you can buy basically, it's technically wine, it's only 15 to 18%, and they make vodka, tequila flavored wine and vodka flavored wine and gin. And, you find some restaurants that only have beer and wine licenses and they're still making margaritas and that's what they're using. One place I can think of here where I live, I went to one time and I asked them, because they had Long Island's on the menu. And I said, is it real liquor? And they're like, well, it's got alcohol in it. And I could see the bottles from where I was standing and I recognized them. I said, no, thank you. I'll have a good beer. Thank you, though. Thank you anyway. So if this opens the door for places like that to be able to sell these ready to drink cocktails in their establishment, I think that could be great for some establishments, just have the beer and wine license. But I have to look into that. I'm not sure, about that yet. I really haven't checked into that much, but I think, I think it might depend on the alcohol content in each one. And I think there might be a limit of what's the highest kind of alcohol that they can serve. So, it's the holidays, it's Christmas. There's going to be a lot of people on the road, bad weather where I live. So, definitely be careful. If you're drinking, please just don't drive. There's Uber, there's Lyft. There's no reason for you to be driving behind the wheel, if you have a drink. But remember, we've got to have a lot of families coming together and a lot of people coming together and they're going to want to go out. Can only sit home with your family talking for so long before you want to get up and go out and do something. And, I talked a little bit about last week, watch out for underage drinking because families this time of year can get a little loose with the rules. And you're also going to see a lot of people out that aren't, your everyday drinkers, your casual drinkers that are going to go out and have more than they usually do because it's the holidays. We're right at the height of rookie season and where people that don't necessarily go out are going to go out and they don't know their limits. It culminates in New Year's Eve, which we got coming up, but Christmas is a big part of that too. And the way that it's falling this year, timing wise, puts Christmas on a Saturday. Everybody's going to go out that Sunday on Boxing Day. It is a huge shopping day. People are going to be up, people are going to be out. And I think we're going to have a lot of people that have, already done with work for the week at this point, or tomorrow or Friday, leaving for the weekend, and they're gonna have a good time for several days in a row. So they're not going to stop Saturday night and say, hey, I gotta go home Sunday. A lot of people are probably taking the next week off, the next couple of days off past that. Kids are out of school till after New Year's, at this point. So we're going to have people that are going to be out. Sunday's going to be a busy day in bars. You're going to have a lot of action even during the day with people shopping, doing stuff like that. Perfect thing to do while you're shopping. Stop at a place, go to the bar, have a couple appetizers, have a couple cocktails, continue on your way. So, be expecting that, and expecting to see the families out and to see a lot of people out there. It's a little gruesome, but you're going to get the casual drinkers out. The other thing is, we kind of got to watch people's mood. And I've told the story here of me running, someone that didn't make it to where they were going from the bar I was working at. I won't get into that whole story, but people's mood can really affect them, especially when they're drinking. This is a time of year where there's a lot of stress on people. Dealing with family, dealing with buying presents, dealing with making sure everything's right, dealing with traveling, airplanes, airports, highways and traffic and all that stuff. That can push them to drink more, and want to drink more. The other thing is, this is also a time of the year when a lot of people get depressed. In the United States, this is the height of actually suicide season, as it is as well. More suicides around Christmas than any other time of the year in the United States. So, be aware of your customers. If you see anything off, if you see anything wrong, let a manager know, let a manager keep an eye on them. We want everybody to be safe, make it into the new year, have a good time, and just keep moving and make it into the new year. So, started thinking about Christmas cocktails and fun things and looking up stuff online. And, if we're going to talk about beverages that have to do with Christmas, got to talk a little about the nog, about eggnog. I think it's kind of funny, much like Jack Daniels, people either love eggnog or they hate eggnog, and there's very little in between. There's very few people that are, kind of casual about it. It's all right with me. I think it's fine. I don't know. I bought some because I'm definitely going to drink it. I still have a lot of 151 rum and some other accoutrements here. Maybe not do it like my family in Alabama, who likes to take a Starbucks coffee mug, Captain Morgan's eggnog lid. Let's go to Target on Christmas Eve and do some last minute shopping. And, by the time I get to the bottom of the cup, I've just got a cart full of stuff. I don't know why. So, not necessarily going to do it that way, but I got family coming into town from Alabama. So we'll definitely have some rum and eggnog or other things in eggnog. And we'll throw together a real eggnog cocktail here in just a minute. But I was curious about where it came from and curious about how it got related to Christmas and how, it got tied into the holiday season. So I had to do a little research. Ended up finding an article from Time magazine they had online, which kind of broke it down. Eggnog is derived from an early medieval British drink called posset, Posset, which was kind of a hot, milky, ale-like drink, they say. And at that time, milk and eggs weren't something that the commoners had access to or would eat. That was definitely for the wealthy, for the elite. So it was definitely an elitist drink for the hoity-toity and the high class. Some people like it, some people hate it. Kind of became tied to the holidays through, the American settlers. They had farms, they had tons of cows, they had tons of chickens, they had plenty of milk and plenty of eggs readily available. So they began making it around the holidays. After the harvest season, they had all this stuff around. And so that was it. And it started being associated from the founders of the United States. In Mexico, they kind of took on their own version of it called rum pulp. In Puerto Rico, they have, and I'm trying to say it the best I can, I believe Can't, sorry, try to say this correctly. Coiquit is what I think you pronounce it correctly, which they add some coconut milk to, and that is kind of the Puerto Rican version of the same thing. And of course, rum in those as well. George Washington even had his own recipe for it, and it said a high octane recipe. When I kind of looked at what the actual recipe was: eggs, cream, milk, bottle of brandy, bottle of rye whiskey, bottle of Jamaican rum, bottle of sherry in there as well. So he threw a little bit of everything into his, and I'm sure they had a good time. Our forefathers, loved to drink, and rum was cheaper here in the United States. They could get it easily from the Caribbean, as opposed to getting it all the way back across the Atlantic to Europe. So they had rum available, and eggnog became the thing, and became the thing you do in the holidays here in the United States. And here we are today with it, drinking it. I happen to notice that Southern Comfort has an eggnog that they came out with, like Southern Comfort flavored eggnog, but no alcohol in it. So I'm not sure what that's about. Tastes kind of like bourbon and peach eggnog, I'm assuming, with that one. But I saw some cool different kinds out there, and some cool different ones. But I found some cocktails that I thought were very cool, and one definitely that looks very cool, that I hope is going to look as cool as I think it's going to look, and as cool as it kind of looked in the picture when I saw it online and stole the recipe from one of the online websites. So I tried to think of some stuff that wouldn't be too hard or too difficult. It can be done in most bars, be done in most places pretty easily. You can go online and find some pretty crazy ideas and crazy recipes as far as things that people try. And it's funny because this cocktail looks good and it talks about it. And then when I go to the prep, it's get all these ingredients, infuse it into simple syrup, and then this is how to make this is how you make a certain cream. So some of them can be involved. And most places we're not going to do that in most bars or take the time to do that. At best, you'd have one or two specialty cocktails that you're going to run, and you might have to do something special for. Madonna Inn, which here where I live, which I talk about a lot, they do the same one every year. It's the same kind of Christmas martini that they make. It's peppermint and milk and vanilla vodka, and then they throw a little candy cane in there as a garnish, and it's kind of the same thing. So it's usually one thing, not too many, to where you'd be expected to do all these kind of random things. So where do I want to start here? So I like this one. I've kind of been thinking about doing this one for a couple of weeks, and I was looking for the right opportunity, and I think it goes well here for Christmas. So cranberry bourbon cocktail. So let's go ahead and let's just do this in a glass. So I got my bucket here, I got my pint glass. Let's throw a little ice in here. Where's my scooper? Get it nice and set up. There we go. Chunk in there. That should be good. All right, so cranberry bourbon cocktail. Of course, I'm going to need some bourbon. I have my handy dandy Jack Daniels bottle here, and this is just water. In most of these, I do have a couple live ones here today. I'll throw something together with at the end. It's not bourbon. Don't call it bourbon. People from Tennessee get really upset about it. It's Tennessee whiskey. It says it on the bottle. But we're going to go ahead and use it here for our purposes because it looks like bourbon, the color of it. So we're going to go ahead and do 1.5 ounces of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's a 6 count. Pour that in there. Then we're going to go ahead and go with some sweet vermouth, which I should have something that looks like sweet vermouth here. I'm just going to give that 1/2 ounce. 1, 2. Perfect, like that. In there just like that. I'm going to come back with some cranberry juice, which should be right here. Not too much. And just a little splash of orange juice in here as well. There we go. All right, grab my handy dandy bar spoon. Go ahead and give that a nice mix. Just get it kind of stirred up, get it chilled out, a little diluted there. Nice and mixed up like that. Come back with my bucket glass here. So I talk about Dollar Tree a lot. I went to Dollar Tree this week. I bought some glasses, and they were $1.25. And like I say, I feel betrayed. I feel like Dollar Tree stabbed me in the back. They always told me it would be $1, and those days are gone. So it's an extra quarter. I really don't care. But I feel like the love is lost. No longer seek that Dollar Tree sponsorship I was after. Strain this out here over some fresh ice like that. And I do inside. I'm going to remember I'm inside and not just throw stuff wildly like I do when I'm outside in the cookie bar. And we got that there. Let's give it a couple straws here. So let's go ahead and grab it a garnish. Got an orange here. Please take the labels off before you peel, before you cut any fruit. Sad that I've seen bartenders I've worked with cut right through the label, and that I've been served drinks that still had a piece of label on the lemon, which I was not happy about. So I'm gonna make some little quarters here. Oh, we need half of this. There we go. A nice piece of orange on the side like that. Got some rosemary here from my garden. We'll give it a little slap there, just kind of release the oils, open them up, set that in there like that. Got our our bar napkin there, and we've got our bourbon cranberry cocktail. Nice red color, a little green in there with our garnish, gives it a nice good look, a little holiday color to it. And I will set that one off to the side and let it rest right over there. I do have to bring this one up too. So I forgot to mention this one last week while I was lighting stuff on fire. And I want to premise it first by saying something I've said before. I don't make up the names. Okay, so please do not get offended because I did not make up the name. So I got too into lighting stuff on fire and forgot to mention it. But I found a Hanukkah drink called a Flaming Jew. So it sounds pretty lethal, and I'm not sure I would try it. I'm definitely not going to light anything on fire today, not inside. But if we did 2 ounces of Goldschlager, and I mentioned that last week, and I'll throw up a little picture for anyone who's never seen Goldschlager and not familiar with it. It is cinnamon schnapps with flecks of gold in it that float around in there. If people want it, the gold settles to the bottom. Shake it up before you serve it to them like that, and it'll look like that. And make sure they get their gold flakes. So 2 ounces of Goldschlager, 2 ounces of Aftershock. And I'm going to put this picture up because I don't think a lot of places have this anymore. This was big in the 90s for some reason, hot and cold cinnamon schnapps. I don't know why. It's got a red bottle, and it might be kind of hard to see in the picture, but this bottom part here, those are little crystals at the bottom of the bottle. I have been told, but never tried it, that once you're done drinking the Aftershock, if you break the bottle open and eat the crystals at the bottom, you'll get incredibly drunk. I have never tried it. There are some limits. I will not do anything, but I just thought I'd throw that out there. So 2 ounces of Goldschlager. We're also going to throw in 2 ounces of our Aftershock there as well. Then we're going to put in 2 ounces of 151 rum, a little splash of Tabasco, a little dash of dill pickle juice into a pint glass, and then light the whole thing on fire. Blow it out and consume, I'm guessing, in one horrible, horrible shot. And then I don't know. I don't know how things go from there. I can't imagine that your night turns out well from there if you do 1 or 2 Flaming Jews. So I had to throw that one out there because I kind of forgot to mention it when I was talking about Hanukkah last week. So interesting cocktail. Let's do this one because I really want to see how this one looks. The name I think is funny too. The Holly Jolly Christmas Citrus Cocktail. So I wanted to use something with Saint Germain's. And I'll throw up the picture of Saint Germain's. People aren't familiar with it, and I'll try to make it bigger like it was. There we go. Saint Germain's is elderflower liqueur. It's made with the essence of elderflowers, of the flowers themselves. Yeah, I don't think it's been around for very long. I think it came out 2007, 2008-ish. But it's becoming very, very popular where I live. I also live in, hipster California, hippie land, but becoming very popular where I live. And I'm seeing more and more recipes, come out week after week that are using Saint Germain. So just wanted to show that bottle. If you guys aren't familiar with that guy, that is Saint Germain right there. So going to make this drink with Saint Germain. What am I going to use? I'm going to use my Collins glass over here. I'll go ahead and shake this one. So I'm going to grab my, oh no, I'm not going to shake this one. I take that back. I'm going to do another Collins glass. So I'll fill my glass to the top with ice, always to the top with ice. And not throw stuff on the floor in my living room. We're going to do 1.5 ounces of vodka. Grab my jigger. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we're going to do 1/2 ounce of what looks like Saint Germain-ish. I tried to get it to about the right color. I think I got it pretty close. It's got a gold color like that. All right, I'm going to put that in there. Lost where I was. Now, the recipe I was looking at, and I kind of like these ideas, said if you could do it with fresh blood orange juice, that would be great. No blood oranges here this time of year though. So I don't know where you're getting blood oranges in December. Not where I live. The other thing they suggested though, and I think that would be a really good idea, is clementines. Like little cuties that you get in the 3-pound bag, easy to peel, you give them to your kids in your lunch sack to take to school. Squeeze a couple of those. That would be a great juice to use in a cocktail like this. But since I know no one's drinking this, and it's just going to be for show. Let's see what it looks like. I'm just going to do regular orange juice and fill it up almost to the top. All right, let me give it a little mix in there. And then I'm going to grab some of these pomegranate seeds, or pomegranate arrows, as I believe they're supposed to be called, and throw some of those in there like that. We get a lot of stuff given to us. We live in farmland. A lot of people grow tons of stuff at their house that they can't eat. People have given us pomegranates, so we're making use of the pomegranates. And I'm going to try not to shoot them across the table and stain things. If you don't know that, pomegranate juice will stain anything that it touches. So we're going to mix those in there a little bit. Come back with another little sprig. I'm going to grab this time a sprig of mint. I have it. I find it. Oh, and it's wilting on me. Poor buddy. Nice little sprig of mint there from my garden. Once again, we'll smack it on there. Throw it in the top. And you've kind of got a berry looking, what are those things called? Mistletoe kind of looking cocktail with the little berries coming down in it and a little mint leaf spread on top. Give it our cocktail napkin. I thought that one looked cool. Would look delicious. Would look a little better with the blood orange juice, but I feel like how the orange kind of plays off the red stuff falling down through it. So that is our Holly Jolly Christmas Citrus Cocktail, which I think looks awesome. It's great. And luckily for most of you, you can just buy these already taken out of a pomegranate in the store in the produce department. And you don't have to take the time to crack open a pomegranate in your sink and dig them out and stain everything red in your house. Okay, this one's gonna be fun. I'm gonna grab this glass of this. So I put up a Grinch photo on Facebook a little earlier. Because I like the Grinch and I think he's cool and he's green. So I found a cocktail called the Grinch. And of course, it looked cool and I liked the idea. So let's give it a Grinch here. So I've got my glass here. All right, so it's going to be green, of course. Let's do this one in the tin. Because the Grinch is green. And what better green stuff do we have than, of course, Midori. Pick that up. So got some ice here in my mixing tin. I'm going to go ahead and try not to drop something. And kind of tried to make that look like Midori. We'll see how close I get. Gonna do 1.5 ounces of this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I'm gonna do 1/2 ounce of orange liqueur here, like Cointreau. Come on. There we go. And we're gonna do 1/2 ounce of white rum, clear rum. 1, 2. All right, got all our stuff in there. Let's go ahead and grab our pint glass, put it in there, give it a nice shake over the shoulder, get that nice and mixed up and diluted. Come back here, pop it off. Grab my strainer. Got some fresh ice here. Big chunk, please. All right, strain this over some fresh ice. Give a nice green color there. And then we'll come back and we'll top it off with some Sprite, lemon lime soda, Sierra Mist, Sprite, 7-Up, whatever you serve at your restaurant. Just like that. Throw a cherry in there. See, give it a nice green straw here. There we go. And instead of the Grinch that stole Christmas, we have the Grinch that made Christmas fun and exciting and enjoyable. We have our Grinch cocktail. All right, let's move on to one more. And then we'll see about throwing together a real eggnoggy drink here. But I like this one. I wanted to get this one in, which is your Christmas mimosa. So get that guy off to the side. All right, so going to do a champagne drink. Of course, I'm going to need a handy dandy flute. Now, Christmas mimosa, once again, I've got some pomegranates here. So I'm going to do some fresh pomegranate juice by putting just 2 bar spoons of these barrels here into my tin, like that. I've already got some orange here, so I might as well use some of this orange here as well to get some fresh orange juice in there. And I will take my muddle and I'm just going to give it a nice mash. I'm going to mash it up pretty good because I'm going to come back and double strain this. So I'm going to make sure that I get all those little seeds and all those little pieces out of it. I'm going to give it a nice mash up like that. Perfect. Awesome, awesome. I'm going to throw a little bit of ice in here. Shake it up with. And I'm going to throw just a little bit of orange liqueur in here as well. Just about 1/2 ounce, like that. Lock this in. Give this one a little underhanded shake here. Get that nice and mixed up and diluted. Nice, good red color there coming from the fresh pomegranates. We're going to go ahead and give this one a double strain. I do want to make sure that I don't get any of those seeds or anything here into the cocktail. It's a nice little mixture of fresh orange juice, fresh pomegranate juice, and some nice French orange liqueur. Through. Okay, and then top it off with champagne. I'm just going to use a little Martinelli's here, non-alcoholic, apple cider here that we have, which makes a good substitute. Gives us kind of the right color and the right look there. Pull that one up. And we're going to go ahead, give it a piece of orange here as well. That. We'll let some pineapple arrows fall to the bottom as well. Just like that. And I've probably got another piece of basil here. Nice little smack. Set that in there like that as well. And we have our Christmas mimosa. Perfect for Christmas morning, breakfast of champions, a little bit of pomegranate, some orange in it, with your champagne to help you wake up as you're opening presents or doing whatever Christmas, Kwanzaa, holiday tradition, let's say, that you do in your household with your family. So I thought these were some good ideas. I thought we'd throw these out here and just kind of check them out. I'm going to make a little room over here. But since it is the holidays, and I have to go drive to Santa Barbara, rent this stuff out, to get my mother who is coming in to visit. So I can't have a real cocktail myself. But my wife is just the passenger / DJ of the ride. So we're going to make something here that I think she'll enjoy. Let me get all the pomegranate mixed out of here. Everything a little cleaned up. And we'll go for a real cocktail. Everything. Grab some water. Okay. I think I got everything here. Clean and ready to go. So, I'm going to grab our handy dandy martini glass. I'm going to do this one as a martini. I'm going to grab a little water. My throat doesn't sound too scratchy. Okay, so where was? Eggnog cocktail. So if just spiking your eggnog with rum and whiskey and brandy and sherry is not enough for you, and you want to have a little more fun and do something a little more creative, we're going to do it into a little martini here. So I'm going to go ahead and chill my glass. Ice in there. And some water here. There we go. We'll set it off to the side there and let that go ahead and chill. Grab my handy dandy mixing tin here. Try really hard not to drop stuff on the floor. And we're going to fill it up about 2/3 of the way with ice. So I have here some vanilla vodka. So we're going to take our vanilla vodka, pour about there, and we're going to do an ounce of vanilla vodka in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and drop it in just like that. I'm also going to do some amaretto. This is the Serrano, an Italian amaretto, very, very good stuff. We'll take our Di Serrano. Just going to do a 1/2 ounce of Di Serrano in there, like that. And then, of course, we need the key ingredient, eggnog. So I have some eggnog here, and I'm probably going to shake it up a little. There we go. I'm going to do 1.5 ounces of eggnog. All right, and we're ready to go. Shake, smile. All right, got nice and mixed up in there. Tried to stick on me. Wasn't going to allow it. All right, take my glass here. Throw my water out. I'm going to let it drip out just a little bit. We can kind of have some fun here if we want to do a little design in here with some caramel. You can do it at places if you've got some Hershey syrup, chocolate sauce, something like that. I happen to have some caramel syrup here. I'm just going to drizzle a little design into the glass. There you go. So that has some caramel stuck to the glass. Nice, cool, fun design in there like that before I pour my cocktail in on top of it. Straight up. There we go. That last little bit out there. All right. And then we'll top it with a little bit of cinnamon, just a little sprinkle. And a little bit of nutmeg. And why not give it a nice cinnamon stick if I've got one here. There we go, nice cinnamon stick in there to garnish it as well. I didn't want that to fall all the way in there, but it didn't want to cooperate. Like that. And we have our eggnog cocktail in a glass with our caramel syrup design, a little bit of nutmeg, a little bit of cinnamon on top, and our cinnamon stick to garnish it. Looks good to me. I wish I could start drinking. I've got several hours of driving through the rain down the coast of California and then back up the coast of California ahead of me tonight. Any questions about anything we talked about today, any of the cocktails we've gone through, or anything else that I can answer?
Yeah, but the only thing, it has nothing to do with the drinks you just did, but well, we're thinking of hosting or creating some type of whiskey flight. So if you have any links or anything like that on how to conduct something like that safely, stuff too, post them on the LBS site or whatever.
Yeah, I think the key is just, most places, they do flights around here, flights of beer, flights of wine. One of my buddies actually works security at a place in Las Vegas called Flights, and it's airplane themed, and all they serve is stuff in flights, stuff in 3s and 4s, wow. Everything. Wow. So you order sliders. It's like one cheeseburger, one chicken, one pork slider. It's like that's like I got the Bloody Marys. It was like one spicy, one this, one that. So everything comes that way. But like all the places I worked at, and I think they did it about the same there, one flight is really only equaling one drink. So okay. we did beer flights. They were 4-ounce flights. You're just getting a pint of beer. We're not giving you 4 16-ounce beers. And wine is the same thing in this area when they do wine tasting in this area. Because that's it. If you want to buy the bottle, you buy the bottle. But for tasting, you get like a 2-ounce pour, or maybe a 3-ounce pour, depending on which winery or kind of which place you go to this area. And that's the key to just not having people get floored. The idea is for you to taste several whiskeys, not for you to get not for you to get a deal on 4 full shots. It's kind of the key there.
Women that are asking, a lot of women have asked for it because they said, well, I'm trying to learn how to taste whiskey. And so they're asking for a flight so that they can taste various whiskeys and compare them. So we figured, well, maybe 1/2-ounce glasses, those little mini shot glasses they've got for flights or something like that. So
yeah, I was just going to say, just do 4 1/2-ounce, or you could even do them in 3s if you guys want to do them in 3s. So it's just in a half. So it's just 1.5 ounces. But either 3 or 4 just 1/2-ounce shots. And actually, give me 1 second. I'll grab a glass. Sure, that. Even doing them in like a little cordial glass or something like this, it's not going to be a lot in there, but you kind of swirl it around. It gives you a nice chance to smell it. And this is just, like a sherry glass, or we use it for like,
good idea.
We'd use it for like port wines and sherries, dessert wines and stuff like that, because we give it a 3 ounce pour. But a half ounce in there is going to come up a little bit because of the curvature of the glass. It's going to allow them to kind of swirl around and look at it. And it's a great glass to get a good smell of it before you drink it as well. Okay. Looks nice. If you get those boards with the 4 holes in them, it looks nice coming on that board with the 4 glasses and a nice glass.
Yeah, and also would allow them to add ice or water if they wanted to in
exactly.
that kind of glass.
Exactly. Yeah, put a little splash of water in there if it's too strong for you to cut it a little bit, or a cube in there, if you want it to be cut down. Exactly. So that's what I'd suggest, something like this, like a small cordial glass.
Okay. All right. Thanks, Carlos.
Yeah, no problem. Questions about anything else? All right, I now have to clean
Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you as well. I now have to clean all this mess up and put it back outside in the rain where it belongs. So I'll have some fun doing that. But it was always a pleasure doing this and making some cocktails and having a good time. So Merry Christmas to you, Monty, as well. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Please have a safe Christmas. And when we get back next Wednesday, we will talk about some New Year's Eve cocktails, which is going to be heavy on the champagne. I kind of imagine, because that's generally a theme in New Year's Eve. So we're going to have several different kinds of champagne drinks and stuff that we'll talk about for New Year's Eve next week. So until then, everybody be safe. Don't drive if you're drinking, take an Uber or a Lyft, and I will see you next Wednesday. Thank you very much, Mike. Have a great week.